knows that when it comes to Russell Westbrook, but now you add a guy like Jared Vanderbilt. How important was that, filling that aspect of your roster with a guy like him? What a ball of fire and energy. We just saw him over the weekend in that first game versus the Warriors.
Vando is, he's fun to watch, man. That guy, talk about competing at a high level, and he does all the things that are necessary for winning basketball. The rebounding, the defense, he sacrifices himself to do all the little things. But he was a key component of the transaction for sure, and one of our focuses. In fact, after we made the trade, my phone started blowing up from other teams calling saying, hey, would you be willing to send him to us for such and such? So as soon as we traded for him, you realize what his value around the league is and how many teams had sort of targeted him at the trade deadline.
I mean, Darvin Ham saying it post-game, too. We're certainly glad that we got him. This is everything you need to know one game in. From him to D'Angelo Russell, why? What are some of the reasonings behind him?
You know, it's interesting. In talking to Magic, he and I were both enthralled with D'Lo's incredible skill and talent when he was a Laker the first time. But he was young. I mean, it was his first go-around. And I think his maturation process and just the way he's grown as a basketball player, we've all witnessed. I mean, to go and lead the Brooklyn Nets to a playoff and be an all-star and to play for other great, organizations like the Warriors and the Timberwolves, he's grown and matured. And sometimes your second time around, you come with more wisdom. And I think he's really, really perfectly matched in terms of how he fits with our captains, LeBron and AD, and with his growth and maturation and his extraordinary talents, we're really excited to add him to the mix.
Rob, I was a part of the 2018 Cavs when they sent out 7 guys at the trade deadline. They still managed to make the finals that year. And I'm not trying to compare seasons by any means, but at this point, with 25 games to go, what gives you the confidence in Darvin Ham and this roster that you've assembled here at this mark that they can compete with anyone, no matter who's on the floor?
Yeah, talking to the guys after the acquisition, we really wanted our focus to be on the next game and just chipping away. And if we can string together wins and we can jump in, I've heard people on the outside say, hey, if the Lakers find a way to get in the playoffs, I would not want to be the team that's playing against this roster. There's just a lot of depth, a lot of different pieces. Obviously, AD and LeBron in a playoff series are matchup nightmares. So we really want to focus on the next game. And if it leads us into the playoffs, obviously that would be amazing too. I have talked, about the strategy at the trade deadline too, and used the term, for us it was almost like pre-agency, in a sense, looking at guys that we might target in free agency and getting them now to make hopefully what would be a playoff run this season, but also to set up next year and having that core. And we still have quite a bit of optionality. I think if you study our cap, Allie, you'll see that some of these guys have team options or team-controlled seasons. So we can see how these pieces fit together and then reassess in June and July and maintain our flexibility and optionality, whether that's in free agency or otherwise.
Yeah, because there was that talk before signing Rui about signing another max player. Is that still on the table, possibly?
We have so many different paths that this could go down, and I wouldn't really at this point say any one of them is in the lead. I think the excitement for us now is on the path with this group, and I'm very optimistic that everyone's going to really like how this team plays and fits together. And so it's going to be a case study over the next few weeks, but I think it's going to be a really positive one.